Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Crystal from Baskets Designed by Crystal. That's me. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome back to the channel for all my new subscribers. Welcome. Thank you for tuning back in. And for all my returning subscribers, you guys know you rock. Listen, I got let's see. I got a 5. I got a basket order for 5 baskets from a local realtor. Okay, I finished 2 of them because they needed to be picked up like ASAP. So those are all wrapped and ready to go. I have those behind me on the back table. But I went ahead and I started assembling this, and I thought, you know what? Let me jump on and make a quick video about it. This is a basket. It's a beach theme basket, like I said, for a realtor. And I think she sold a beach house. And she provided all the items and just is paying me to assemble them. Okay. So let me just bring it in a little bit closer. Hope you guys can see that. This back here is cute. It's a wall plaque. It's an octopus. Okay. It's an octopus. Let me stick it around on back so you can kind of see the outline of the octopus. It's very, very pretty. Again, like I said, this is for a beach house. Okay. So, of course, we went ahead and put that in the back. We're going to use that as a backer. This beautiful basket she bought is actually a boat. Okay. If you can see it, it's, shaped like a boat. All right. And she doesn't have very many items in here. These are just some decorative orbs, okay? They sit in baskets. I have some around my house. They're pretty. Don't really serve a purpose. It's just kind of like decorative pieces. They all came in a bag. So what I did was I opened the bag, and I'm just setting them here in the basket, okay? So my thought is when they finish emptying some of the items out of here, these orbs can stay right in this basket. Okay, and they sit down and they're very, very nice. So again, she didn't put a lot of household items in it, but she did do some really nice gift cards. There's 1, 2, and I think there's a third one in here. It's sealed, so I just left it sealed. Okay, this is a candle. It's called Beach Bonfire. It's a hand-poured candle, and let me tell you, I opened it up, the can, and that smells super, super nice. Super, super nice. And this is just a little, it's really just a little shot glass that just says Pensacola Beach, because that's where the house is, on the beach. I think it's just their vacation home, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can bring it in a little bit closer. Okay, hopefully you can see that just a little bit better. Okay, so it's for their beach house. I believe it's a doctor. Okay, and then that's just some chapped lip beach bum lipped a chapped lip stick is what I'm trying to say. She just kind of stuck that in there, so I left it in there. Okay, so this basket is very, very simple. It wasn't much really to design. I do have these little stars here. They're starfish. Okay, they came in with the orbs as well, but they're getting lost down in there. So my idea was just to take a dab of hot glue. Okay, and I think I'm just going to glue them on the front of this basket. Okay, the hot glue is not going to disturb the basket. They can just pop right off if the recipient so chooses. Just can kind of pop that right off. Hopefully we can get it to stick since it is on a basket. Let's see if we can get that to hold and secure. I'm not really sure that this is gonna hold. Let's see. Try it again, just to kind of hold it there and see if it adheres. I'm not really sure my idea for that is going to work out, so let's just see. Let's see. Hopefully it does. Yeah, it's kind of staying, but it's not as secure as I would like it to be. Maybe if I let's see. I wonder if a glue dot will hold it better. Okay. Again, I could see it didn't really do anything. I'm thinking the hot glue is not adhering to this basket. So maybe what I'll have to do is just kind of open up some of the weave on the basket and secure it that way. Okay. But I really want these little starfish to be displayed somehow on this basket up front. So the hot glue did not work. We'll just go ahead and do it this way. Stick that down in there as not to disturb the weave of the basket. Okay. And then we're going to put one right over here. And of course, like I said, they can pull them out if they wish. But for decorative purposes, I kind of wanted it. Let's see. Wanted the little starfish displayed because they're so cute. Now, this basket is going to be shrink wrapped. Let's get that down in there. Okay. Yeah. This basket is definitely going to be shrink wrapped. Okay. And of course, that'll further adhere those little stars on there until the recipient opens up and decides what they're going to do. Okay, just to embellish it a little bit because, again, not very many items in here. I think the gift cards were basically the focal point of what she wanted to give the recipient of this basket. So I'm going to take some of this tulle, and it's a beachy blue color, like a teal, like a nice teal blue. And I'm going to stick that down in here. Let's take that out for a second. I'm going to stick a little down in here just to give it a little visual interest. And it kind of looks like water in this basket. So we're going to cut off some of that tulle. For this particular basket, I did not want to use shred because I felt like shred was going to get lost in here. Okay. And the orbs sit up high enough where I really didn't even need to stuff it with any paper or anything to make them sit up any higher because they're huge. They sit all the way down in there. So we're going to put our little beach cup right there. Okay. This is a really quick, simple design. I love when they bring me stuff like this. Again, they purchased all of the items, so all they're doing is paying me to basically assemble what looks like it's already been assembled. You know, so I love, love, love when items come to me like this, that they've already purchased, and it's just a simple design. Let's see if I can stick some of that tulle back in here. Okay. And I think that's really it, guys. I'm going to find a nice, pretty, beachy blue ribbon. I think I have some in mind that I'm actually thinking about. It actually mimics water. Okay. Isn't that pretty? I think that's really, really pretty. Okay, I'm going to pause this video just for a second, and I am going to find myself a shrink wrap bag, and then I'm going to find myself that blue ribbon that I think I know where it is in my ribbon stockpile. And I'm going to put some more tulle in here because, again, I really want to give it that beachy look. Let's turn this around. I don't want it sticking out too far in the back. We'll put some back here as well. Okay. All right, like I said, I'm going to pause this video just for a second. I'm going to get my shrink wrap bag, and I'm going to find that ribbon, and we'll come back and maybe shrink wrap it, tie a beautiful bow on it, and that's going to be that for this beautiful, beautiful beach basket that the realtor ordered. Purchased all the items herself, and it is definitely for a beach house. She told me that she sold, I think it's just a vacation home for one of her clients. So she wanted everything really, really beachy. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to pause this video. I'll be right back. Okay, my lovelies, I am back. I found two ribbons that I really like. I have this iridescent, I don't know if you can see it, but it has like scales on it. Thought that was really cute. I don't have a lot of it left. I really love, love, love this ribbon. But I also have this ribbon, okay, which is a wired ribbon. It kind of plays with the same colors. So I think I'm going to use this one because I have more of it, and I want a really big, pronounced bow. And then I went in my stockpile and I found these cute little inexpensive little flowers. So I bought these from a bin store, and I think I paid, I don't know, they were pennies. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I'm just kind of pulling them off of here like so. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of put them throughout here. Again, just to give it just a little bit more visual interest. Okay. The realtor has a really nice budget for me putting together these, this basket or these baskets, because I have several of them. So I just kind of want to embellish them and definitely make it look like it's worth the price that she's paying for me to do the design. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. You know, embellishments I absolutely love. They give such definition to our baskets. And it definitely, I mean, it really brings your price up. So, you know, for all my newbies, new beginning designers, embellishments are really, really important. Okay? So, don't know if you can see that, but I just put some flowers throughout here. And of course, I have my tulle in here that's mimicking water, and we're going to put a really beautiful bow. Okay? So I went ahead and I slipped the basket in this shrink wrap bag because I needed to measure it and make sure that I had the right size bag. So this bag is a 30 by 30, okay? And forgive the noise. Okay. 30 by 30, and it slips up right over this basket. All right. So I have my zip tie here. I'm going to use a blue one. I'm going to stand up a little bit. Let me see if I can angle this camera up just a tad so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm gathering at the top here. Okay. Now, as I'm gathering, I'm also moving this octopus up because I don't want it to lean back. I want it to kind of sit up so you can see it. So, of course, I'm gathering it, but I'm also pulling this, the decor piece of the octopus up. So when I shrink wrap it, it will definitely stand up. Okay, I'm trying to pull all my gathers more or less to the back. Being very careful not to tear the bag because the edges of my little octopus can definitely puncture the bag if I'm not careful. Okay. So, this is just an odd shape. Okay. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to pull and tape the rest. Okay. Again, making sure my little octopus stays in an upright position. All right. So, my zip tie I'm tying here at the top. I'm going to close it, but I'm not going to pull it extra tight because I want to leave enough room or enough space in there that when I shrink wrap it, the air is going to escape out the top because this is such an odd shaped basket. All right. And I have my trusty transparent tape here. And I'm going to begin to pull, straighten out, and pull these edges and fold them under and to the back. Got some tape in there. All right. Push that down just a little bit. So I'm dealing with these edges right here. Okay. Again, this is a very odd shaped basket. But I think we definitely can work with it. Now, I always like to, as much as I can, when I'm doing baskets, is to hide the mechanics of my basket. And when I say that, I mean, for like I said, for most of my newbies, you guys that have been in basket business long time, my OGs know what that is. So when I say hide the mechanics, it means you want to hide the tape and all the things that hold your basket together. You want to really, really try hard to keep those hidden. Okay. Again, I'm pulling as tight as I can here. Under. Now, right now I'm just using, I'm going to really have to use some wide tape on this, but I'm just taping it a little bit just to make sure that this is going to turn out like I want it to. And from what I can see, so far so good. All right, now I'm going to go in with my wide tape and really secure it down. Because when I shrink wrap, okay, it's definitely going to pull. it's going to pull that, it's just going to pull this tape off, or you know, it's just that tape is not strong enough for the heat gun. So I am going to reinforce where I've taped it. And I absolutely love this tape because it's smooth as silk. Like I said, it goes on just like butter. Okay. All right, guys, I have my heat gun here, and I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping. Go ahead and start shrink wrapping my basket. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to see if I can speed this up a little.
Shake it like you mean it, baby. Come on and dance with it. Come on. Shake it like you mean it, baby. Come on and dance with it.
Okay, guys, there you have it. Okay, like glass. All right, and I think that shrink wrap job came out really nice. It's nice and taut. Nice and taut, nice and tight. There's a little piece of paper on here there. That was the tag from when I opened the shrink wrap. That was like a little price tag thing on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my stickers from my business that says Designs by Crystal, and I'm just going to place it right over that so it won't even be seen. Okay? All right, I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to get my ribbon together, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, here you have it. I am back, and I did decide I was going to go ahead and use this one. The colors are very vibrant in it, and I'm going to do a double bow for this one. And basically, when I say double bow, I'm going to make a bow, and then I'm going to make another bow to sit on top of it, and that's really, really going to pronounce it and fluff it out really, really pretty. Okay, so let's get started. All right, first loop. Make my first loop here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pinch it right there in the middle. And then I'll make my second loop. I'm not going to mix any of the colors. In other words, I'm just going to use this one pattern. Sometimes I like to use different patterns for my bows. I think, but for this one, I'm just going to use a single ribbon. Because there's a lot going on in this basket already as far as the colors. And I kind of want to not take away from that, okay? So I'm just repeating the process, just making loops, okay? And as you can see, my loops are a little big, but that is by design because I want this bow to be very, very fluffy, okay? So depending on how big your loops are, okay, can determine how big or how small you want your bow, okay? All right, so we're going to do 3 loops on either side. And if you notice, I'm twisting this ribbon, okay? I'm twisting it to keep the pattern side facing up. So right where your trigger fingers meet in the middle, that's where we want to twist. Okay, and pinch and loop. Okay, there we go. And again, twist there. Okay. And loop. All right. Here we go. And let's cut off a little piece here. Okay. It's pretty just like this, but like I said, I want to do a double bow. So what I'm going to do is just take my trusty little clip here, and I'm just going to pinch it together just to hold it until I make another one. Now, this one's going to be slightly smaller. The loops won't be as big because this is going to sit in the middle of the bigger bow. Okay. And you could do this with the same color. You could change patterns. You can kind of do whatever you want. But if you want your bow really, really big and really, really pronounced when you're only using a single ribbon, which means you don't have multiple ribbons that you're doing together, I like to do this method. Okay. And we're going to pinch and loop. Okay. I'm just straightening out my loops as I go, just to make sure that they're even. Twist. Keeping all my colors uniformed. This one's wanting to fight me a little bit. There we go. Fighting me, but I'm fighting back. And again, we're going to do three loops. Okay. This is my third on this side. And then one more on this side. I absolutely love this ribbon. This ribbon came from Sam's about maybe a year or two ago. I don't think I've seen it back in Sam's, but hopefully they'll be putting their spring ribbons on sale if they haven't already. I go to Sam's quite often, but I hadn't seen any ribbons. Okay, so that's the inside part of the bow. And while I'm at it, I'm going to cut off a little more because I want some tails. Okay, so let's just cut off another piece of ribbon. Just fold it in half. Okay, like so. And let's just cut it straight across. All right, this isn't I shouldn't be using these shears. I have ribbon shears. I'll get those in a second. So then I just crease that, just like that, okay? And I open it up right where it's creased, in the middle. And then I just twist. And I twist it to make sure that the pattern side faces front, all right? Now, let me just put that down for a second. Pick up my bow here. And take it off my little clip. And then I'm going to put these two together. Voila. See how pretty that is? Absolutely beautiful. There's so many different ways to make bows. When I'm using single ribbons and I want a really big bow, this is my go-to. Okay. And then we have our little tails. And right back here where that finger is, right here, I'm just going to lift that finger up. Put it right there. Okay, see that? And that will be my tail. Voila. Okay, now I'm not going to use a pipe cleaner. I have some of this curling ribbon. You can use a pipe cleaner. I have pipe cleaners, but I also have a boatload of curling ribbon. And when I can, I try to go ahead and use it. This is a light blue color. I'm off camera just for a second. I'm trying to tighten this. There we go. Tighten that up a little bit. There we go. And we're just going to knot that right in the middle. Like I said, I have a ton of this curling ribbon. I didn't buy any of it. I have a really good friend, Melissa, And Melissa makes wreaths. And she used to work at Party City a long time ago. And I believe Party City went out of business or whatever, or maybe they just put a bunch of stuff on sale and she just bought it, and it was sitting in her storage area, I believe. And she never really did use it because she doesn't use or didn't use curling ribbon for wreaths. And she gifted it to me. And when I tell you I have tons of it, I have tons of it. It really comes in handy though, for stuff like this, because you know we use what we have. Comes in handy for stuff like this. And I also find I use a lot of it during Easter time for little kids, because it makes really fun curls and stuff when you're doing gifts for little kids. I've also used it for other occasions, but I really like it when I'm securing my bows, okay, because it's very, very sturdy. All right, and so this is my bow. Straighten that out a little bit. Yep, the tail's there. I'm going to straighten it out a little bit more and finish those edges. Let's go ahead and get it tied on the gift. Pretty, pretty. Okay, now, remember when I told you, I'm going to move you again. Sorry. This basket is very tall, so I just want to make sure you're getting the full effect. Okay? Remember when I told you this zip tie, I didn't pull it real tight because when I was shrink wrapping it, it allowed the air to flow from the top. That way you don't get these little bubble pockets. Because if you get bubble pockets and you put too much heat on it, it will bust your bag. Okay, so that's just a technique that I use. So I leave it open just a little bit so when I'm shrink wrapping it, all the air flows out the top. Once I have it in position and just the way I want it, I just go back in and I pull that zip tie very tight, okay? And then I just snip it off. Voila. Okay? Keep everything really, really nice and pretty. Okay, I'm going to cut off a little at the top just to even it out. A little of that shrink wrap bag. There, you have a lot going on up there. All right. Now I'm going to take my beautiful bow. And because I use the ties, okay, this is what I'm going to use to secure it back here. Let's tie it on in the back. And then I'll turn it around and we will straighten out the front. Okay? I think I'm going to use a little bit more of this curling ribbon because just to put some detail in the back, maybe some just curls coming down because of the octopus and the swirls in his arm. I think the curls will be really, really cute. But I'm going to come back and do that in just a second. Let me turn you back around so you can see this bow. And this is where we begin to just fluff it out and straighten out that bow a little bit. Okay. Again, when I'm using a single ribbon, meaning not multiples, because sometimes I'll use sometimes 2, maybe even 3 ribbons when I'm doing a bow, when I want some contrasting colors. But for this particular one, I'm just using a single ribbon, but I wanted that bow really, really pronounced. So that's why I did a double bow on here, because I wanted it nice and fluffy and big. And I think I've achieved the look that I was going for. Okay? Pretty? Okay, so always remember, finish your edges. These are my really, really good scissors that I use for my ribbon. These other scissors were basically just paper scissors, and I'm not really sure. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so I'm going to dovetail here. Dovetail that ribbon. And then we're going to do the one here on this side as well. dovetail this one. Okay. Voila. Man, I think that is so pretty. Okay, let me see just a second if I have any more. I'm going to look for some contrasting. This is like a baby blue color. I'm going to see, I think I should have some curling ribbon. I want some different color blues. Oh, great. I have, this is a pretty blue. I think I'm going to use maybe some of that as well. I have some glitter. Not a whole lot, just enough to give it a little bit of, like I said, visual interest. And the more I embellish this basket, the more expensive it's gonna look. Okay, so let's just slide that on here. It's not really tied to anything. It's just tied under that bag. Okay. All right, so I have two color blues here. Let's see if I can make these even. Okay. And then, of course, you take your ribbon or a knife or sometimes even just your fingernail and just pull that ribbon across and it'll just curl up. Okay. Like I said, don't want a lot of curls, just a few is good. All right, guys. Can you see that? This is the finished basket. Bring it a little closer for you. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. I think it came out really cute. Okay. That bow is nice and fluffy. All of my items are in there, nice and tight. And I think the realtor is going to be really pleased with this beach basket for the beach house that one of her clients purchased. Okay? All right, guys. This is Crystal with Baskets Designed by Crystal. Thank you for stopping by and sticking and staying with me. Before you go, if you'd please just hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this beautiful basket. Okay? All right, guys. This is Crystal again saying bye for now.
Shake it like you mean it, baby. Come on and dance, man. Come on. Shake it like you mean it, baby. Come on and dance.